Guys, Ben Milliken here. I'm going to try to do a little vlog type deal today. Definitely not the most ideal conditions. Woke up today and it was about 25 degrees. It's warmed up to a balmy 32 degrees right now here in the Midwest. It's end of November right now. As you can see, we've got snow on the ground from a couple days ago. Hasn't melted yet. Looks like we got about a 10-mile-an-hour wind, 32 degrees, water's probably around 40. Definitely bluebird skies, and while that's not the most conducive conditions to catching some fish, that's actually not a terrible thing. A lot of guys will completely shy away from that. I tend to think it positions the fish a lot more on the deeper structure and cover, the brush piles, any breaks, rock piles, stuff like that. Obviously, with the water this cold, they're going to be moving real slow and lethargic. Their metabolism's slowed down a ton. So we're going to go out and drag some stuff around slow, throw the jerkbait around a little bit, and see what we can come up with. Seems like they really want a lot more of a jig profile today. So what I'm going to do with my Texas rig now is put on a punch skirt. I just had one, grab my jig and pull back on it. As soon as I lift it up to set the hook, it was gone. And I feel like that's the constant balance you got to play in these cold water situations when they're real finicky. You got to have that big jig, 3/4 1 ounce jig, to get down there, maintain bottom contact, and keep it moving real slow. But at the same time, as finicky as they are, they pick that jig up and they feel the weight of it and they drop it right away. That should be the trick. Wanted that one? What you get when you throw the 106X? Look at that one. Look how white that dude is. It's like an albino fish. That is what you come out deep for right there. that. I'm gonna get right back in there. I think I know right where they're sitting. It's not small. Oh, yeah. Woo! 5-pounder. It is a bad day to be a crawdad. Get her back in the water. Woo-hoo-hoo! Now we're rolling. Let's get back in there. That is another stout one, man. 4.5, 5 pounds. Killing them. Did I mention it's a bad day to be a crawdad? I swear these aren't all the same fish. Oh, that's why you retie. So I'll show you guys real quick what I'm using today out deep here. Just a 3/4 ounce football jig that I tie. It's got some green pumpkin with some orange in it. Nothing fancy. But since it's cold and they seem to want a smaller compact profile, what we do is we'll cut it all. I cut all of it off at the hook, a little bit above maybe even, and I'll just go around the top. I won't cut all of them, but I'll thin it out and give it kind of a halfway finesse profile, like a big finesse jig. The weed guard down, and then I got a big old Rage Lobster, giant bait. Got about 2 1/4 sections out of it. Thread it on, and you have a big heavy bait that's super compact still. So today, even though obviously they're not that finicky, seems like a nice meal for them. I'm gonna get back in there. Small one's fun to play now. Get out of here. Just got off the water, heading home now. To be completely honest, I was about ready to give it up after the first 3 hours or so, when all I had was 2 or 3 bites where they just pulled on the end of the bait. Showed almost no interest, didn't seem like they were active at all. But then things got real good. Went and hit a shallow jetty, man-made jetty, with nice deep water right on the edge of it. Threw that 6 cents Provoke jerkbait out, the 106X, the shallow version, and right away, boom, caught one about 3.5, and then boom, another one, probably about 4.5, and finally got excited a little bit. So I decided I was going to run a couple more areas with some jetties and no luck at first. And so thought I almost went home at that point. I thought I might as well go hit one more deep spot that we started on. Apparently I got it lined up perfectly where I was pulling on the shallow windblown side of the edge of the point in the rock pile, right where it started, and it was lights out at that point. 2 baits, football jig, and the 6-cents Provoke jerkbait. Honestly, I think if the water was cleaner today than 2.5 feet visibility with wind, I would have just crushed them on the jerkbait. But that's pretty tough when we got muddier water conditions. Water was about 45 degrees out on the main lake, 44 by the time I left, and right around 40 when I went into the creek arms. There was actually ice, and there still is ice on the creek where the water comes into the lake. So that's an idea of how cold it was. No reason to hang it up just because it's cold outside. If you have open water, even water as cold as 42, 43, 44 degrees like today, those fish can be a lot more active than you would think. Always stay persistent. You never know when that short time period that they're going to feed is going to be. Can't tell you today why they start feeding. The water didn't warm up. The air barely warmed up. The sun angle didn't change a lot. It's about the same the entire day this time of year. Maybe it got a little bit darker. Fish certain areas that you have a lot of confidence in several times at different points throughout the day, and you can have a day like that. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to me if you would. Let me know what you'd like to see different in the future, or any other types of videos you'd like me to talk about, or anything like that. But thanks for tuning in.